Now to a CNN exclusive involving the death of that Georgia teenager found dead at his high school. Kendrick Johnson's body was found inside a rolled-up gym mat at his high school gym in Valdosta last January. The original Sheriff's Department investigation indicated he had died by accident, that he had suffocated after trying to reach for his shoe. But his parents never really bought that. And when they had his remains exhumed for an independent autopsy, they were shocked to learn his organs were missing and his body was stuffed with newspapers. Now they're suing. Victor Blackwell's the one who's been all over this. And so the news, they're suing the funeral home. They are suing the funeral home. And for the Johnsons, there's no question now who discarded the organs of their son, Kendrick Johnson. They believe it's Harrington Funeral Home. I'm going to read straight from this 22-page complaint. It says that they believe that what the Harrington Funeral Home did was designed to deceive and perpetrate a fraud which was used to mislead and make it difficult to establish a true cause and manner of death. Now, you know, it's just a couple of weeks ago I was here to report that after an investigation from the Secretary of State's office, they found that it was not illegal to stuff a body with newspaper, and they couldn't determine who got rid of the organs. I sat down with Kenneth and Jacqueline Johnson, Kendrick's parents, just a few days ago, and here's their response and their reaction to that.
They're taking the focus off the real issue. The real issue is what happened to his organs. That's what we are most concerned about, what happened to Kendrick's organ. We're not, you know, they stuffed him with gold, I mean, but he still done something illegal. I mean, where's his organ? That's what we are concerned about.
Also, you know, there's the question of clothing, because that's mentioned here. The clothing he was wearing when he was found in the gym mat? Absolutely. The T-shirt and the jeans and those socks, of course, that could offer some information if there's DNA from another person or hair the Johnsons were looking for. Where is it? No one knows. According to reports, the written reports from the transport company, the clothing was taken to the funeral home. I sat down with the attorney for the funeral home who says, yes, those clothes did make it to the funeral home. A couple of days later, I got an email saying, no, we never received the clothes. So those clothes also are missing. I reached out to the attorney for the funeral home. He says that he's not yet received this. They have not yet been served. We got it from the courthouse, and he says once they read through it, they'll respond. But the Johnsons are asking the jury to send a message. They want an award. They want a punishment so strong that it will deter any other funeral home or crematory or any agency that deals with the body from doing this ever again. Victor Blackwell, thank you. Sure.
What do you want? Justice for KJ! When you want it? Now!
After months of rallies, marches, and sit-ins, and the announcement of a federal investigation into the death of Kendrick Johnson,
I will follow the facts wherever they lead.
CNN has learned FBI agents are now conducting interviews in South Georgia. Kendrick's parents, Kenneth and Jacqueline Johnson, recently sat with investigators for nearly 3 hours. The Johnsons want to know what happened to their son. It's a question Jacqueline Johnson first asked 1 year ago.
911, where's your emergency?
Yes, I'm calling. My son didn't come home from school today, and he still haven't got here.
Okay, what's your son's name?
Kendrick Johnson.
That was January 10th, 2013. That afternoon, the 17-year-old ran into the old gym at Lowndes High School. The following day, Kendrick Johnson was found dead, upside down in a rolled gym mat. The Johnsons never believed he died accidentally after getting stuck while reaching for this shoe, as Lowndes County investigators determined.
They know something happened in that gym, and they don't want it to come out.
The Johnsons exhumed Kendrick's body and hired an independent pathologist who determined Kendrick died from blunt force trauma to the neck, not an accident. Lowndes County Lieutenant Stride Jones spoke with CNN in May, the day after the sheriff's office closed its case.
It was not a rash decision that was leapt to by any means. I mean, we've drawn this out, done a thorough investigation, and we think we've covered all bases.
As the FBI conducts its interviews, CNN is taking an in-depth look at the accounts of the first interviews in the Kendrick Johnson case, conducted by the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office.
We've interviewed slightly over 100 and something people during this investigation. That included students, teachers, some parents that had access during the time period of question there.
We examined every incident report included in the 522-page investigative file. According to the file, Lowndes County investigators interviewed 111 people, including 7 school employees, 3 medical responders, and more than 90 students.
It started on January 11th when Kendrick Johnson was found at Lowndes High School.
The file reveals sheriff's investigators interviewed 18 people the day Kendrick Johnson was found. We took that information to HLN analyst, a former police officer and member of the FBI response team, Mike Brooks.
I want to interview someone that day, that night, or maybe the following day while things are still fresh in your mind.
However, the documents reveal most interviews occurred months later. Here's the breakdown. Investigators interviewed 33 people in the month of January, just 4 in February, 1 in March, and 72 of the 111 interviews were conducted in April, 1 more in May.
But months later, you start to leave out possibly some crucial pieces of information, because it's your mind. Sometimes you can recall things that you might not have recalled that particular day, but to a couple days, maybe even a week after it happened. I say week on the outside, but not months, Victor, not months.
Remember, Kendrick's body was found January 11th. The first emergency medical technicians called to the scene, initially for a reported cardiac arrest, were interviewed April 17th. The paramedic, who noticed bruising to Kendrick's jaw and considered the gym to be a crime scene, was interviewed April 18th. The janitors, who cleaned the gym where the body was found yards from these blood streaks on a wall, were among the last to be interviewed on April 26th. Local investigators believe the blood is unrelated. However, they've never found whose blood it was or how it got there. And according to their report, the investigators did not ask the janitors about that blood. And look again at the school surveillance video. This was the last time Kendrick Johnson was seen alive. There were other students in the gym, but the investigators' reports have no record of interviews with any of these students.
I looked at the crime scene investigation, evidence collection, the autopsy, the interviews that were done and were not done in a timely fashion. This is a sloppy case from the get-go.
In a statement to CNN, the attorney for Lowndes County Sheriff's Office writes in part, "We continue to support U.S. Attorney Michael Moore's interest in these tragic circumstances and applaud his urging of the community to come forward with facts and evidence rather than feelings or opinions, no matter how sincere they may be." Sheriff Prine maintains every confidence that his office's investigation was timely and properly prioritized and handled with the necessary diligence to assure that all leads were examined and exhausted, and he welcomes the U.S. Attorney's continued review of the case.
What do you want? Justice!
The Johnsons and their supporters now hope the FBI will get an answer to their question. What happened to Kendrick Johnson?
That's my child, and we're going to fight till it's all over, until we get the truth. That's all we've ever asked for, was the truth about what happened to Kendrick Johnson.
CNN has learned from a source with knowledge of the investigation surrounding the hard drives that the FBI agents will be at Lowndes High School likely today to seize the hard drives from the surveillance system at Lowndes High School, potentially to get the video from the day that Kendrick Johnson died and the following day when his body was found. Now, this is the result, we've also learned from this source, of a grand jury subpoena issued by U.S. Attorney Michael Moore in Georgia, who is investigating this case. And as you mentioned, this is to find out exactly how he died. You know, there is the video that we received from the sheriff's office that left so many questions for the family, for the Johnsons. They want to know essentially, did all the video that was recorded at the school make it to the sheriff's office? The FBI now is going to take control of those hard drives to try to get an answer to that question.
Well, I'm remembering from your previous reporting, and there were, crucial pieces of the video that were just missing. So I'm wondering, will these hard drives, will they explain how this teenager died?
Maybe is the answer. You mentioned video that's potentially missing, that hour in the gym where Kendrick Johnson's body was found. When we know there was activity, no recording there. It depends upon several variables here. One of the most important is the cycle at which this system is set to record over old information. Some are set at a week, 2 weeks, maybe 30 days. We know that the original hard drives were requested more than 45 days after Kendrick Johnson disappeared to be pulled from the system. So quite possibly that video from the original system has been already recorded over, Brooke.